Hello, today is Thursday, October 1, and today we are going to talk about labeling drawings. So let's go ahead and get started. Get into your Canvas account, and then I'd like you to click on This Week in Science. And when you get there, we're going to be going down to Thursday. But first, I wanted to show you a little tool that I am providing here. So if you click on Engineering Digital Notebook Guide, if ever you feel like the notes are going too fast or you would like to see it a little bit more close up, you can go to this page, and I have a copy of my slides showing up, and all you have to do is click on them to go to the next page. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and go back to my pages here. And like I said, we're going to go down to Thursday. Oh, that's the wrong one. We're going to go back to home page. And we're going to go to This Week in Science. You could also go to modules if it works best for you. And I'm going to scroll down to today's date, which is Thursday. Let me point out that if you've not done your formative criterion constraints quiz yet, please make sure you get that done. Also, if you click on Monday's assignment, that was the formative, that was the practice that had the scenario about The Incredibles and about Star Wars. You can go into that assignment, and I've put lots and lots of feedback. Any question that you got wrong or only partially correct, I gave a little bit of feedback about why it was wrong or what was right about it and what you could do to fix it. So lots of good information there to help you learn from your mistakes. All right, so we're going to go ahead and go to Digital Notebook. And you'll notice that there's a copy of that guide that I showed you just a few minutes ago there as well. And we're going to click on the Engineering Design Notebook to get us to a big version of the assignment. And we are going to go down to the fourth slide. So there's 1, 2, 3, and we're going down to 4, where we have a picture of the bird's nest. So I would like you to take a moment and just look closer at the bird's nest and think, what are the things that you can see on this particular picture? So I'll let you have a moment to look at that, and I'll kind of move it up here. Think, what do you notice and what do you see here in this picture? Okay, let's go ahead and get started with our notes. The nice thing is that there aren't many notes today. It's a much shorter set of notes today. Okay, all right. So in engineering design and sometimes in inquiry, once we've figured out what the process is that we need to go through in order to solve a problem, and we figured out what the problem exactly is, including the criterion constraints, so we know what we have to build, why we need to build it, and what we are allowed to use and not use to solve this problem. We want to be able to start communicating and showing our thoughts and our processes. And the best way to do that is to draw pictures or to take pictures of our designs that we make. So we're going to draw or take a picture of your design. Okay, so you can see down here that we have a picture of the design. It's right here. Here's a bird's nest. And then we're going to add something to our design, something that's going to tell a little bit more about how this is built. And we can see some examples here around the edges of this nest. And these are what we call labels. So we are going to add labels to our drawings. There are 3 main types of labels that we are going to add. The first is sizes or dimensions. And in science, we usually make sure that we use dimensions, we use things like centimeters and meters, but what we're going to do is we're going to give the lengths of things, the widths of things, and the heights. Okay. The second thing that we usually make sure that we label our materials. So we want to know what it was that we used to make these things. So with our bird's nests, you might want to be able to put a label that says, oh, we used grass here, or I used mud here as glue. The final thing that we are going to make a label of is important details. I like to think of these as like important instructions. So how things work, or how things were done. So basically, these are like your instructions, being able to add some instructions so that people kind of understand how things work. All right. That is it for our notes today. Remember, if at any point in time you feel like it goes fast, you can always pause this video and collect the notes. You can also go back to the example notebook. All right, so now we're going to go back to our Canvas page. We're going to go to the home page, and we're going to go to our This Week in Science. And we're going to go to today's assignment, and I'm going to walk you through the first example, and then the other two parts of the assignment are your homework. All right, so we're going to go down here to where it says formative labeling practice. And when you get there, it's going to look something like this. All right, labeling practice assignment. In science, we often draw or take pictures of our design ideas and investigation setups. We do this to process our ideas and help others understand how our designs and investigations work. In order to make our ideas more clear, we need to label our drawings and pictures with the following details. Design dimensions, these are those sizes, length, width, and height. Measurement units, making sure that when we measure those or when we write those in, we tell them how big they are specifically by saying 10 centimeters, 10 meters, 10 inches, etc. We also may share what materials were used or needed to create it. We also will probably label those important features that we talked about. All right, so here are the actual directions. We are going to give you an image and some details. And those details are going to have portions that are in bold. These are the things that we're going to create labels for. So we'll have a label for 20 centimeters wide, 20 centimeters long, 10 centimeters thick. Straw was twisted into a circle, tied together with a piece of dried grass, right? So each of these is going to get its own label. And when you look at our example, you'll see those right there again. So here's your 20 centimeters wide, 20 centimeters long, 10 centimeters thick, tied together with a piece of dried grass, made with straw twisted into a circle. Okay, notice that those are the bolded details. So now we're going to go ahead and try making this drawing together, and I'm going to show you the tools that I use to do that. Okay, so we'll go down here and you click on the show your work, and I'm going to go ahead and start with the very top one right here, that 20 centimeters wide. By the way, if you can't see the question with the details, it's probably because it's been put into a shrunk form, or it's been shrunk down. All you have to do to get that back is to click on this up arrow, and then you'll be able to see your question with the details. Okay. All right. So I'm going to start by coming over here to the left-hand side, and I'm going to click on the second button down. And they're going to give you two options, scribble or line. And I'm going to go ahead and make a line across. Then I'm going to click on the letter T. This is going to give me an option to do the text. That means our writing. So I'm going to write 20 centimeters wide. Then this is pretty small, kind of hard to read. So I'm going to make these words bigger. And the way we're going to do that in this program is we're going to come over to the letter T, and we're going to click on the button just below it that looks like a square, kind of an incompleted square. that is going to be our select button. You come back over and you take this little plus sign and click on the words. And then if you click on the corners, you can drag and drop it and make it bigger. Okay. All right. Now, I need to move this nest over, this whole drawing over, so I can write on the sides because I don't have any room to write on the sides. So I can do one of two things. I can either press this minus button and make it smaller so I can see it. I can also click on this hand button. And what the hand button does is it allows you to move the whole picture around in the screen. So I now have it at a place where I can write easily, and I'm going to go ahead and I can see the whole picture. So I'm going to go ahead and go back up to our scribble line tool, and I'm going to choose the line, and I'm going to make a line up and down from the top to the bottom of the nest. And I'm going to do the same thing I did before. Click on the letter T, type in the words 20 centimeters, this time long. And then I'm going to click on my select button, which is underneath the letter T. I'm going to click on the words and I'm going to make them bigger. And now you'll notice that in our example, it's turned sideways. Sometimes we want our words sideways so that it fits better into the picture, and that's fine. So what we're going to do is we're going to find the little stick that sticks out of the words, and we're going to click on the outside edge away from the words, and you're going to click on that, and then you should be able to turn them around. And I'm just going to turn it sideways so that I've got it so that it looks there. Then I can click on the middle of it and I can move it to where I want it exactly. Okay. Those are really big words. I kind of want them the same as the others. Okay. Next, I'm going to do the width, and I'm going to go over here to the button again, and I'm going to do, actually first I want to move my picture over so I can see the other side. Then I'm going to click on the scribble button this time, and I'm going to do scribble so I get to practice that, and I'm going to make or draw this sort of bracket shape. And then I'm going to type 10 centimeters thick. So I'm going to go get my text box, and I'm going to go 10 centimeters thick. And again, I'm going to resize it by selecting it and making it bigger. And I might turn this one sideways just because I think it'll fit better. I turn it sideways. That's up to you. All right. The other way you could do that is by making 3 separate lines, 1, 2, and 3, if you like it a little bit more precise, but that gives you a chance to practice with the scribble button. You can also change the colors of things by clicking on this button up here. It'll change the thickness of lines. You can make them dashed. You can change the colors, all that. All right, the final one. We're going to go ahead and grab our line tool one more time. And I'm going to make a line to this little thing here, and I'm going to make a line to this part here, and I'm going to add in my other 2 details. So the first one was by the way, I did this by pressing the function button twice, and I have voice to text. I don't know if you have that, but I'm going to go ahead and use that because it'll go quicker. Tied together with a piece of dried grass. Okay. Then I'm going to click on my letter T again, and I'm going to come over here. Made with straw twisted into a circle. And then I'm going to click on this, and I'm going to make it bigger. I'm going to click on this one and make it bigger. All right, so now we have our edited drawing. You can check it out by clicking down, and you should see the whole thing. It looks pretty good. All right, happy with that. So I'm going to go ahead and click this little, my face down here. And I'm going to go ahead and click on the check mark button. And now I've submitted that work. Now your assignment is to do the same thing for these 2 images here. The helicopter, by the way, do not build the helicopters even though you have the materials for them, and don't do the drops on a penny yet because we're going to do those next week. But you'll look at the image, you'll read the details, and each of the bolded details need to become a label for your design. You'll click on the show work. You might want to center it so that you can see what you're doing by clicking on that hand button, and then you can start drawing in your lines and adding your labels. So if you're talking about how long the wings were, you might do that. If you're talking about how wide they are, you might do that. If you're talking about the body, you might do one here. You might have a pointer there. And then you just add your labels to them with your text buttons. So you click on them and you add your texts, okay? All right, by the way, if you need to ever get rid of something that you made a mistake, click this little eraser button and then you can erase the individual pieces. All right. When you're finished with both this one and the eyedropper one, then make sure you go back to Formative, or back to your Canvas, or that you're in Canvas, and that you click the submit button so that it shows that it's turned in. If you have any questions, please send an email, and good luck.